You're listening or watching on YouTube to the Birds vs. Boys draft prospect preview show. We have gone through the wide receivers / tight ends. We're now going to make our way into 2 offensive linemen. And this show, of course, is powered by Branded Sports and brought to you by delicious Stateside Vodka. So we got to move into Vince's favorite name in the entire draft.
Let's do it. Let's get into the maulers. We got 2 offensive line here, and we are taking a look at Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell. I every time I say that now, I forget how to really say it. It's
I know.
Penei Sewell.
I literally did it the other day. I literally, instead of saying Penei Sewell, I was like Penei Sewell. Thanks, Vince. So,
thank you, Vince. So Penei Sewell here, Penei Sewell. He's a tackle out of Oregon. He was born in American Samoa. He's one of those dudes that just, you can tell he puts the tongue out and he's ready to hurt people. 6'6", 331 pounds, ran a 5.63, which at that size, that's just stupid.
He is. So I have written down here that there's been multiple quotes. Best offensive line prospect in a decade. Mm-hmm. I can't read and react to offensive line tape as well as I can like receivers or running backs or quarterbacks even. But you can kind of just tell watching this tape why people are so high on him. Yeah. I think this is a classic case though, because he's like dropping down draft boards because he has short arms. So they were under 34 inches, and that's not great for a tackle. This is like a classic case of examining a guy for too long. You're telling me he was one of the best tackle prospects ever, and then you measured his arms and all of a sudden you're out? Come on. No.
I hate it. I hate those little tiny, I don't know. We measured his hand, and his right hand pinky is 1 millimeter longer than his left hand pinky. Now, I think if he's a left tackle, that pinky strength on the right hand, having him go against guys like Clowney on the outside, I don't know if he's going to be able to hold up. Aaron Donald is just going to wreck his pinky strength. It's like, what the fuck? Watch the tape.
It's exactly how I felt watching it. And here's the thing that stuck out to me, and I know it's his best strength, is the footwork. Like, you can have long arms, but if you can't move your feet as an offensive line, who cares? Like having shorter arms, quote unquote, shorter arms is a trait that you can make up. Having really slow feet and you can't move, you can't come back from that. Like, no. If you're too slow, you're too slow, especially in this day and age with all these pass rushers and the different ways that they can get to the quarterback.
And so my first positive to him beyond any of his was that he was a 2-year starter at left tackle. I mean, he would have been a 3-year starter if he didn't sit out due to COVID this past year. But that soundness of starting at that level for 2 years at left tackle is unbelievable. Very, very athletic. He has great upside. And like you said, his footwork is perfect. He's so fundamentally sound and has great technique on top of he has a very wide base when he's set. And if you can see he has very good knee bend. And I know I've started to look at that in offensive lineman from our guy, Brian Broadus, who's on the draft show. He's all about how these guys bend at the knees. And if they're like upright or bent over, it's a big no-no. And yeah, his arms may be short, but have you seen his like hand punch? It's just like he's going to kill someone with it.
Yeah, he attacks the defender.
Yes.
It's not the defender coming at him. He attacks and is aggressive and attacks the defender. And so those are the 2 things that stuck out. You talked about the hand punch and just him always getting his hands on the defender no matter what. He is going to get his hands on him. And again, back to the footwork. It's like watching Joel Embiid, to take it to the basketball analogy, where you're like, someone this big probably shouldn't have this graceful footwork, but that's what you see when you watch Sewell. Like, it's like these feet shouldn't be moving like this for a guy who's over 300 pounds.
No. And that just goes to his athleticism. It's just, and those feet also help him get to the second level very fast. So if there's no one there, he's getting on a linebacker, and the linebacker has no chance. And he can also, because of his footwork and his wide stance, Have you seen on his tape how many times he can take on multiple defenders at one time? Like,
Yeah,
he can just hold up against two guys.
And he also takes up a lot of space. That was the other thing I had written down. Physically menacing. Like, he's at a physical mismatch on every rep, where it was funny at sometimes where I was like, wait, is that a defensive end or a linebacker? Like, he's so overbearing physically that the guys who are matched up with him, I mean, they look like D3 athletes.
Yes. There was a couple times, my one and only negative was that there was a couple times he doesn't fully always finish his blocks on every play. But again, that's something that's just a mentality at the next level that can be coached. That's nothing that has to do with intangibles or strength or anything.
And the one worry that I had is Pac-12 schemes where it's quick and out of your hands, and like, how much are you really challenged as an offensive lineman there? And one positive, on a positive note, because this is one of the best tackle prospects we've seen, doesn't really commit dumb penalties.
Yes.
There's nothing more annoying than a big guy who is an oaf.
I've seen plenty of them watching the Dallas Cowboys over the years.
He won't be doing the Jason Peters jump back a whole foot and get a false start. That's not really him.
No. All right. You want to move on to our next offensive line prospect?
Yeah, we're staying with the Maulers here. We're going to do Rashawn Slater next.